Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. Let's talk Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 3, Stand in Your Truth. AKA Robyn the Bone Collector. AKA Robyn came to get her check. AKA Robyn was super messy all episode. For those of you that are brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video, sharing with a friend, and then hopping into the comment section so we can talk about what seems to be the beginning of the end of the Green Eye Bandits. All right, so this episode starts up exactly where the last one left off, with Candace and Giselle sitting in like the dance studio, and Giselle telling her that she felt uncomfortable during the interaction with Chris. Now, while Giselle's timing is wrong, if Giselle felt uncomfortable, Giselle felt uncomfortable, okay? And I feel like had this been anybody else, if this was Karen, or if this was Wendy saying this, or anyone else, it wouldn't be this big of a deal. But because Giselle is messy, we know this, we accept this, we know this about her, we come to expect this about her, it's become a bigger deal than I think it has to be. So Candace gets up. She goes to talk to Eric who is the executive producer, said that they will not be maligning her husband. If they want to have a husband that is going to be doing all that kind of stuff, we have Michael Darby for that ass-grabbing MFer. Giselle went and sat down with the rest of the ladies like nothing happened and had a cupcake. I said, oh my God, Giselle. Giselle really went and sat down like nothing happened, y'all. That was wild to me. So Candace feels like her husband has now become the target. Production tells her, I can't control what they say, just like I can't control what you say. So Candace tells production that everything she has said has been true. And she wants them to not cut out her fourth wall. She wants everything that she just said to air on the show, and did. So everyone back in the room is confused, and they're like, what's going on with Candace? Because they watch Candace come right on out that room and leave. So Giselle is sitting there like she has absolutely no idea why Candace got up and left. Here's my thing with this. If Candace and Giselle are supposed to be friends, associates, whatever, I should be able to come to you and say, hey, your husband made me feel uncomfortable. You know, I don't think he meant anything negative by it, but in this instance, I was definitely uncomfortable. I do think the fact that the Ashley situation happened and then Candace just being Candace is what hypened this up to be where Candace is so completely on 10, right? Because later she says that she is stressed out about this. Why are you stressed about it? If you know your husband hasn't done anything, you feel that your husband has not done anything, why would you be stressed about it? Like I said in my last recap, keep your husband from around these heifers, and then you don't have to worry about that. Chris does not have to be on the show as much as he is. Chris does not have to come to as many of the events and the parties and stuff as much as he does. We don't see Ray at every single event like that. We don't see Eddie at hardly anything. We don't see Juan at a lot of events. Keep Chris off the show. That's really all you have to do. But if you know deep in your heart and you feel that your husband has not done anything, why are you letting this get you all hyped up and worked out? See, Candace's problem is Candace always shows her hand. She wears her hurt and her emotions on her sleeve, and then she doesn't know how to deal with them, still at her age. So we get Wendy. Wendy is telling the group that she wants to open this restaurant with Peter Thomas. She said that she would be investing 20%. So the ladies are all talking about it, and They're like, okay, that's a big move. That's a lot. You're gonna have to live at the restaurant. And she's like, no, 20% owner. I don't have to do that. So they ask her, is she going to Peter's grand opening, which is coming up? And she says no, because she has something else to do. Once again, showing that she's too busy for everything that she wants to do, everything that she wants to happen, in her life. So Ashley then asks how Eddie is handling this. She said Eddie wants no part of this because Eddie feels that you're already too busy for what we want you and need you to do in our family unit as a wife, as a mother, that he wants her to get under control what's on her plate now, and then we'll slowly add stuff into it. So Giselle wants to talk to Mia. She starts to get into their issue. Robyn says, hey, why don't y'all go into another room? Go into another room. So Giselle and Mia go into the other room. Wendy is like, so why did they walk away? Wendy, aren't you in the room? Didn't you just hear? Wendy's energy has been very, very off since last season. And I know a lot of y'all wanted to cape up and down the hill for her, but you have to admit Wendy's energy has been super, super off. So Giselle Ashley says, well, Giselle is being thrown under the bus when we all had something to say. So it's so rich how they like to do this. It's like nobody wants to defend Giselle in front of her, because y'all could have said this in front of Giselle. Nonetheless, Ashley is like, we all had something to say, which is true. Everybody had something to say. Wendy then said that she is giving her the benefit of the doubt because a friend of hers has died from cancer recently. But she said that there have been things that have happened since then that are definitely confusing. So Robyn pipes up because Robyn said, I'm going to earn my check this episode. And Robyn said, so then why did you try to point out that it was just Robyn and Giselle? Wendy backpedals like she usually does and says that she never even said her name. And so production shows the clip. And Wendy, if you're saying, so was it just these two? Just these two had something negative to say, when you know that everybody else has, that you trying to throw them under the bus. If you're pointing at me and referencing towards me and gesturing with your hand towards me, you don't necessarily have to say my name. So meanwhile, we pipe over to Giselle and Mia. Long story short, Giselle tells her that as her friend, she was just genuinely confused about the post. She wasn't questioning whether she had the cancer or not, and she's sorry. Mia said that she, didn't expect that from Giselle at all, the apology or, her behavior with it. So she's willing to move forward. They hug it out. Everything is fine. Just back in the room, Wendy and Robyn are now going back and forth. And it's semantics. Wendy wants to say that because she never actually called her a liar, if we're being real, Robyn never called Mia a liar either. Robyn never called Mia a liar either, unless I am missing that scene. But I don't believe she did it either. So Wendy is telling her to stand in your truth. Stand in your truth. I didn't say anything about it. You guys were saying it about it. And it's like Wendy is trying so hard to cement herself as a housewife, but Wendy's approach is just terrible. It is trash, y'all. Super, super trash. So Robyn stands up and says, I am standing in my truth. I am standing in my truth. I am standing in my truth. So she stands up, and then Wendy is like, sit down, sit down. So then Robyn was like, look, everybody, Wendy wants me to sit down, so I'm going to sit down. I said, that wasn't the move, Robyn. I know Robyn thought that was going to come out way differently than it did. That wasn't the move, though, G. That wasn't it. So when Mia and Giselle are back in the room, they ask Mia, is everything good between her and Giselle now? And she's like, no, we're good now. So Ashley asked her if they have ruled out cancer. Mia says yes, but they still have lumps and she needs to go get biopsies done on them. So Robyn tells Mia, look, I would love for us to get together. I want to be cool with you, but a lot of what you're doing is kind of confusing, blah, blah, blah. But I want us to get together so that we can basically hash this out. I can get to know you. You can get to know me a little bit better. Robyn then proceeds to go around the room to all the ladies. Hey, your boys are on spring break coming up, right? Okay, Giselle, your girls on spring break. I said Giselle kids are, well, maybe they're not that much older than everybody else's kids. Never mind, because they're 16, 15, 16? So she asks Ashley, and she's asking everybody, how old are your kids on spring break now? Because she said that Corey wants to have like a family fun day. Probably like a field day. Wendy is sitting there. Wendy wanted so bad to be like, my kids on spring break too. And she doesn't. So I believe it was Sharice was like, so was she not invited? And Robyn was like, no. So Wendy gets offended and it's like, well, it's one thing, for us to go back and forth, but I draw the line at the kids, and the fact that you don't want to include the kids is a character flaw. Look, I feel like if I'm not cool with you, I'm not inviting your kids. That's just how that goes. Unless the kids have their own relationship and the kids are already friends, I don't have to invite you. I just simply don't. These housewives have events and stuff all the time, and we do not see everybody at every single thing. She doesn't have to invite Wendy. Wendy was salty. So the ladies all are leaving. Somebody asked Giselle, so what was up with Candace? Giselle sat there and said, I think her stomach was upset. I said, Giselle ain't shit. So then we have Wendy. Production runs after her. Win. So how are you and Mia? Are things okay? Wendy then says, yeah, everybody knows that she's lying. She's a liar. And then it turns on and says, oh shoot, I still got my mic on. See, Wendy, I don't know who she crossed on production, but that means that you've set somebody up. What did you do to that particular producer? Why would they throw you under the bus like that? But what's even more like in your face is the fact that Wendy sat up there and tried to get on Robyn once again, saying that Mia was a liar when Robyn never said Mia is a liar. Again, it might be me that missed it, but you're sitting here calling her a liar not even, 10 minutes later. Y'all gonna see how fucking fake Wendy is. But alright, whatever. We then get a scene with Candace. Candace is doing the injections on herself for her IVF since Chris is at work and she didn't have anybody else to do it for her. Karen and Ray go and get a manicure. Karen is asking Ray if he is insecure about her and worried about other men checking her out now that she has gotten more work done on herself. Ray said that she has always been attracted to other men and other men have always been attracted to her. And Karen said, well, you said in our marriage that I could have eye candy. Ray said, yeah, let's keep it at candy. This seems like where there's smoke, there's fire to me within the Huger household. Because I feel like the fact that they're blatantly bringing up Ray might be feeling a way about Karen's surgeries and stuff like that. There is something afoot within the Huger household. All right, y'all, mark my word. So then we get Ashley and her brother. They are going and looking at a house. Ashley said that this is the third or fourth house that she's looking at because the previous houses, every time she's ready to make an offer, someone comes and slips right underneath it with a cash offer. So production is asking, well, Ashley, have you thought about making a cash offer? Michael said that he does not think a cash offer is a good idea. Actually, it's like, yeah, me either, because in terms of refinancing and stuff like that. I said, actually, does that even sound like that makes sense to you? Does that even sound like that makes sense to you? You have the money to buy a house outright to where you won't have a mortgage, sis. You're literally just going to be paying your property taxes and utilities. And you honest to God, and truly believe that that is not a good idea. That means your house can't be foreclosed on. Oh, Ashley. Oh, Ashley. Oh, Ashley. So the realtor then said that Ashley's talking to the realtor, and she's saying that she's wondering what's going on. You know, why is she... No, I'm sorry, y'all. So Ashley is talking to the realtor, and they're talking about the fact that they are kind of waiting. Ashley originally was waiting to get the house before putting out the statement about them being separated. The realtor was like, no, I've already talked to the bank and the lender and all that type of stuff. You're good to go. Basically saying you don't need Michael to get this house. And I feel like that is a $1.5 million house. Ashley should be able to afford that type of house with what she's been making from the past 6 seasons of this show. Am I wrong? On top of what she's going to get in the divorce. So like, Ashley, what have you been doing with your housewife checks? You haven't invested anything? You haven't been saving any money since you say you don't pay for anything else? So Ashley's in the confessional, and she was like, she kind of feels the way now that Michael basically told her that they needed to be married for her to get a house. And I'm like, Ashley can't be this fucking stupid. She can't be this ditzy. So the producer was asking her, you know, doesn't this make you feel the way that he's already lying about the finances? And Ashley just gets quiet. Again, either Ashley is not truly getting a divorce, and this is a storyline, or Michael is playing the fuck out of her, and she's too stupid to see it. Because she's too blinded by the fact that he's going to pay for this. Who, Ashley? Why would you think that y'all had to be married to get a house? Michael can just as easily buy you a house and put it in your name. The two of y'all don't have to go into it together. Because if Michael Darby has as much money as Ashley keeps playing, he can give you the $1 million for that house, and that's change for him. That's chump change for him. They ain't getting no divorce. We pan over to Robyn's house. Robyn's house is gorgeous. Very, very beautiful house. So they're in the brand new house that they've built. Things seem to be going well. It's decorated nice. It's a lot of like white and creams in there, but the house looks nice. It's, you know, they're back on their feet after the foreclosed house and then being in the two different townhouses. So she wants to ask Juan if they should explore getting a prenup. Juan said, it's cool, you know, whatever you want to do. He said because he's going to make more money than her anyways. So, you know, she doesn't care about that. So Robyn said that it's really to just protect them because things got messy when they divorced the first time. It's not because she now has these businesses. Juan was like, it feels like it's because of your businesses. But again, Juan doesn't care about the prenup. So Robyn said that when the first time they got divorced, Juan started dating someone else. And she was worried about things getting sticky with that person. You know how sometimes people are dating when they get a divorce and they start dating someone new, that person is in your ear. And when that person is in your ear, you know, you start to think, you know, you're damn right I should have part of that. I was there when she was designing them hats. I did tell her black stars versus gold squares. You know what I mean? So Juan is like, all right, look, get a piece of paper. Write down everything you want. I'll write down whatever I want, and then bada bing, bada boom. That's really all it's going to be. So they hyped it up to be this big thing. Juan don't care. He's happy with the prenup. We get a scene of Wendy going to the doctor. Wendy said that her hair has been falling out since having her daughter. So she had like little bald patches or near balding patches in her hair. And I think they kind of they're linking it to stress. Wendy is taking on way too much at one time. Wendy put her body through the trauma with getting her little mommy makeover. So like you're stressing yourself out physically, probably mentally. Wendy needs to slow down. But Wendy seems like the type that's not going to slow down until she falls out. So it's going to take for her to be flat on her ass for her to realize I need to slow down, relax, and pull back a little bit. We get Mia and Robyn meeting up for lunch. So Robyn said that Giselle is totally wrong for how she approached Mia with the, is this how cancer, no cancer look? I think Giselle knows, looking back now, that was a shitty thing to say and do. But let's move on. Past it. So Robyn wants to know what is really going on with Mia. So Robyn asked her why her post says that she does not have cancer for now, but that she will have to get lumps removed. So Mia said, well, the post is old. It's about 2 or 3 weeks old. At the time of the post, they hadn't removed the lumps yet. But now, as of when she met with the girls at the, where were they, at the little TikTok dance thing, she had gotten the lumps removed and the biopsy sent out. So Robyn is like, don't you see how confusing that is? Why haven't you updated everyone else about what's going on? Now, I responded to a couple people on Twitter who were saying she doesn't have to respond. Why is this so confusing? We're watching it after everything has been compact, right? So we're able to see a couple months worth of footage within a week or two in these episodes, whereas they're going through it in real time. If you are going to open Pandora's box and put out on social media that you have lumps, they're being tested, your doctor told you to rush to the cancer center, then you delete the cancer center part out of your post, then you say, I don't have cancer for now, but we'll see. Yeah, it's going to look away. So that's why if you don't want to give people updates every step of the way, every doctor's appointment, then you don't get on social media as a public figure that has thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of followers and say that you're being rushed to the cancer center. Mia did want attention with the post. Mia definitely is going through some type of, physical ailment right now, but the post itself was definitely for attention. And that's what Giselle and Robyn were trying to convey, but they couldn't articulate themselves enough to do it the right way. So Robyn then said, so tell me about the lump. Mia looked shocked. It's almost like Mia didn't have a story prepared to talk about the lump. We know that Mia has had extensive plastic surgery. For all we know, this could be like a complication that Mia is going through from the butt injections, from the BBL, from all the stuff that she has had done. This could just be like some type of silicone infection or whatever. Mia said that she doesn't have cancer, but it might be an autoimmune disorder. So then Robyn, for whatever reason, switches the conversation to tell Mia about Giselle and Chris. And it's like, this is Robyn getting back at Giselle for telling her business about that house being Justin Juan's name. This is Robyn just getting her lick back. That's all this is. So Mia then said, well, I have something to add. I said, oh, girl. So then Mia, who we know has a little lying problem, shout out to Miss Misha. Mia has a little lying problem. So Mia said that when they were at the spring fling Karen's party, that Chris was staring her up and down. Lord have mercy. Production showed us clips. Every single clip they showed us, Chris was looking the complete opposite way of Mia. Now, it could have been editing. Maybe they locked eyes for like a brief moment, because you lock eyes with people for, it happens sometimes. But you know how hard I laughed at production showing these scenes of Chris paying her dust. Paying her absolutely no mind. Mia, stop. Robyn, why are you going person to person doing this? I just don't understand. Robyn just sat down and had lunch with every person on this cast aside from Karen so far. Robyn is busy, booked and busy. We get Giselle going over to Karen's house, and we get a simultaneous scene with Chris talking to Candace. So Giselle is at Karen's house, and she's talking about the Chris thing. Giselle is saying, in a nutshell, Chris made her uncomfortable, recants the story. Karen said, so basically what happened is that you had a level of comfortability that Chris might not have known about, and he crossed that boundary. So if he made you uncomfortable, then he owes you an apology. And I feel like that's all that needs to be had. I just feel like if Candace would have just been like, okay, he made you uncomfortable, okay, I'll talk to him about it. Maybe he doesn't know. Chris could have said, I made you uncomfortable. Damn, my bad. I didn't mean to even do that. And it could have been squashed. But they're going to drag this out. And y'all are going to want to say Giselle is trying to drag it out, which she is because she has no other storyline. But Candace is going to drag it out as her storyline as well to deflect from the problems that her and Chris are truly having in their marriage. Right? So while this is going on, Karen is asking, so did he touch you? Did you say anything? Giselle is like, no, nothing happened. But in my gut, I felt uncomfortable with this entire situation. Karen says she had a similar situation with one of the husbands in the cast that hugged her so tight, pressed up on her breast. She wasn't comfortable about it. She talked to her pastor about it. She talked to Ray about it. It has been squashed. So she understands what Giselle is saying. Again, because it is Giselle, and people don't like Giselle because Giselle does shit like this, where she's messy and she pulls shit out for her own storyline instead of really talking about her own life. Everyone is going to say that she's in the wrong. If she said she was uncomfortable, the heifer was uncomfortable. I guess I don't understand why people, when we're living in an era of Me Too and all this other shit, why people are acting like she cannot be uncomfortable in a situation. We pan over to Chris and Candace. Candace is crying, saying that she's uncomfortable. That she is feeling like she's a failure because she's not succeeding at the IVF egg retrieval. She then wants to go on and say that Giselle is stressing her out. How? She has said one thing to you. You didn't even really have a conversation with her about it. You got up and you left. Again, a very quick, simple, and easy fix is keep Chris's ass off the show. Don't have him film with the other women. It's not hard to do. It's not hard. So Candace feels like because of the stress with Giselle, that might be keeping her from being able to produce the eggs because stress does have an effect on that. I said, okay. So then they start talking about the situation with Giselle. Chris said that if she felt uncomfortable, then she was uncomfortable. But Chris went on to say that he didn't ask to go to her room. Giselle said, hey, we can come to my room and talk. Giselle is saying that Chris said, let's go to her room. Whatever the case, they got to her room. If Giselle was uncomfortable that nobody was there, she should have said, oh, shoot, my glam team is not here. We can stand in the hallway and talk, or let's go back downstairs. Chris said that because nobody else was in the room, that he told her we can leave the door open. So basically, they both knew how the optics would look. They both had the opportunity to leave at any time, and they didn't. Nothing happened. Chris goes on to say that, it's weird for her to be uncomfortable with me when she talks about my penis every chance that she gets. Candace brought up your penis to everybody. Candace brought that up initially. Does Giselle repeat it a little too much? Absolutely. But that is not her asking how it looked. Candace brought that up, which is why stop talking about your husband's anatomy if you don't want to have it repeated back to you. So, Robyn shows up. So now Robyn comes to this and it's like, yeah, so let's get to the bottom of it. Ashley said this, whatever the case. But then she does say that Giselle did bring this up to me right away that night in the car. So Robyn is like, if nothing happened, everybody seems cool. What can we do to fix this and move past it? Candace wants Giselle to walk it back because right now Giselle is dead to her. Why would she be dead to you? Because she said your husband made her feel uncomfortable. It's not like Giselle said that Chris touched her. It's not like Giselle said that Chris made some type of pass at her or said something, inappropriate. Where there's smoke, there is fire, y'all. The fact that Candace is reacting like this, something is going on with her and something is going on with Chris. There's the issue between the two of them. Hey, maybe Chris has been stepping out for all we know, or maybe Candace has suspected that Chris has been stepping out, and she's going to direct her anger towards Giselle because Giselle felt uncomfortable. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.